All right, whiskey freaks, today we're not reviewing anything. I'm not blind tasting anything, and I'm not breaking down mash bills or barrel entry points, any of that kind of stuff. I'm not even going to rant about anything, if you can believe that. Today, we're going to be solving a problem. Because I asked y'all one simple question on social media, the cesspool of the internet, right? Now, it's usually a dangerous place, but somehow you whiskey freaks behaved yourself and you jumped right in and actually made this a pretty damn fun experiment. This is science. I asked y'all, if you had to banish one whiskey forever, which one's gone? And you guys did not hold back. So today we're launching the Whiskey Witness Protection Program, where certain bottles are going to be quietly relocated for their own safety. And honestly, probably our safety too. Now, before I get into the numbers, let's talk about the biggest offender. This is the bottle that had the highest percentage of all y'all saying, get this crap out of here. Which one do most, or at least I'm looking at percentages, the highest percentage of all y'all wanted gone? And honestly, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by this. That's right. It's my best friend and favorite Chris Stapleton golden goodie from our good friends at Buffalo Trace. You guessed it, guys. The whiskey I love to hate, and also you seem to hate it, Traveler. Good old Traveler. And can you believe, and I've mentioned this before on the pod, Major League Baseball actually adopted this stuff as I think it's the official whiskey of our national pastime. That's like naming a gas station hot dog the official cuisine of the Kentucky Derby. That's insane. And truthfully, it's a reminder that sometimes the biggest decisions in America are made by people who don't know the difference between bourbon and a marketing scheme. Oh yeah, how bad was it? Traveler came in at 8.5% of all the responses you gave, and there were a lot of folks fired up and ready to share their responses and throw shade at Traveler. And you were not kind about it. Also, it made me smile. And look, if you've listened to this podcast, you already know. Me and Traveler, we don't get along. We never have. If Traveler shows up, I am suddenly interested in literally anything else. Now, I will say this just to keep it honest. That Traveler full proof at 125 proof, it's better. I didn't say it's good. I said it's better. It's actually pretty decent, guys. It's got some weight to it. I mean, at least it tries. Do I recommend it? No. Am I buying it? Also no. But compared to the standard Traveler, okay, it's like the one guy in the group who's slightly less annoying. You still don't invite him, but you tolerate him if you have to for like 5 minutes. So, Traveler, you're sitting at 8.5% of everybody who replied, and you are, my friend, officially entering witness protection. And right behind Traveler is, no surprise here, Willet Pot Still. 7% of y'all, you said Willet Pot Still has got to go. And this one, y'all weren't quiet. Nobody gently placed Willet on the banishment list. This was aggressive. It was like hateful. People weren't reviewing it. They were venting. And I think part of the problem here is that the bottle, and I know people have been tricked by this, the bottle looks like it should be incredible. And then you drink it and you're like, what just happened? It feels less like disappointment and more like a betrayal. All right, this next one kind of blew me away because we got a tie. And we've got a tie sitting at 6%. 6% of everybody who replied said Buffalo Trace, and 6% of everybody who replied said Jack Daniels. But here's the thing, guys. These are two completely different animals. Now I get Buffalo Trace showing up here, but that's not really about the whiskey itself. It's about people being over the hype, right? It's people dealing with the trauma, the frostbite, the sunburns from standing in snakes for hours in the parking lot to get sometimes a ho-hum bottle of some such new allocated potion that they're pushing there in Frankfurt. All right, imagine you drove all the way there. You had to listen to the wife all the way down there. Okay, let me clarify. Not my wife, your wife. Then you get there. You wait in the snakes. And by the time you make it to the gift shop, nada. All gone. And then you really get to hear about it. Am I right? Buffalo Trace being banished from the universe forever is about the allocation BS. It's over the pricing. It's over the idea that something that used to be a shelf bottle that you could find back in the day now feels like you need Bear Grylls to help you find it. And it's tied with, I mentioned this, it's tied with, of all things, Jack Daniels. 6% of you just hate it. And, okay, guys, that's not hype backlash, more like Buffalo Trace. These are, I think, life choices. I think it's people remembering a night they'd rather not revisit. It's a college nightmare, maybe, that you can't unremember. For me, it's Southern Comfort. That's coming up next. Just saying. But Jack Daniels versus Buffalo Trace, it's just a totally different energy. All right, now we're getting into the middle of the pack. The bottles that didn't get completely executed, but definitely got some votes from the jury. And it's a whole group of what y'all called bad whiskeys. Sitting around 4% of all the answers you gave. And they were, at the aforementioned Southern Comfort, my old friend, Basil Hayden. I don't understand that one. I don't hate Basil. Basil's a little weak in my mind, but I think it's overhyped. But Eagle Rare, I don't agree with that one either. 100% don't agree with Eagle Rare. And Dickel. All right. So Southern Comfort, Basil Hayden, Eagle Rare, Dickel. And these all tied at 4%. You guys wanted them gone for good. And I kind of think this is a little nuts because these aren't universally hated. Like I said, I don't hate all four of them. But the people who didn't like them, they really don't like them. Southern Comfort especially, I get that. I think SoCo, for many of us, it's just long-term emotional damage. I can relate. And then we've got a cluster around 3%. Not that kind of cluster. A cluster of results around 3%. Each of these garnered 3% of your replies, and they are Maker's Mark, Fireball, I can't believe it wasn't more for Fireball, Crown Royal, Amy Amburana Finishes, and High West Campfire. I agree with the High West Campfire. I think that is, I'm not going to say. But there was no agreement across the board on all of these at all. And it looks to me like one person's banishment's kind of another person's go-to. It's really wild, which is exactly why blind tasting exists. Because if you just listen to people talk, everything's either amazing or it's terrible, and it's dependent on who's holding the glass in their hand. Now, my favorite category, the random one-offs. Everything else sat around 1 to 2%. Ardbeg shows up and immediately gets followed by, yeah, I've got that cilantro soap gene. Somebody's got that. And that's when I begin to learn something. There are aldehydes in cilantro and whiskey. And because whiskey is a complex, we're learning today, guys, this is science. Because whiskey is a complex spirit packed with various aldehydes, people with this genetic variation may perceive certain whiskeys differently than others. So for some folks who have this cilantro thing, I have a cousin who has it, that's where the hate or the disdain for Ardbeg comes. In that same vein, And I did not know there was so much disdain. And for those of you with infinity bottles, disdain means, well, it basically means hate. I didn't know there was so much hate for single malt Scotch whiskey. But guess what? There is, or at least there was in this scientific poll y'all helped me with. Same with peated whiskey and Burana and anything super aggressive, whatever the hell that meant. And I really believe this isn't about the quality of the whiskey or the bourbon that they're producing. I mean, it can be in some cases, but I really believe it's just people running into flavors that their brain, their particular palate refuses to cooperate with. I think it just proves we're all wired differently. So what did we learn from all of this today, JoJo? First, we learned there is absolutely no agreement in the whiskey and the bourbon universe and the bourbon community. Like none. Zero. Second, we learned that hype might actually hurt a whiskey more than helping it. Think Buffalo Trace. And third, Traveler, sitting at 8.5% of all responses from y'all. That's not great. That's not a few people don't like it, guys. That's, you might want to change your name and move to another continent. If you love something, fine. If you hate it, well, that's fine too. But the main point, I think, of my scientific experiment here is that we all love whiskey. We just don't love all whiskey. And it makes sense, really. Why would we all agree? Guys, it's okay to have opinions. I think all y'all who listen here know that for sure. So there we go, Whiskey Freaks. The first ever whiskey witness protection program has officially wrapped up. Looks like some bottles are getting relocated before they embarrass themselves again, while some are standing tall defending their honor. And some? Well, let's just say the evidence was overwhelming. The score wasn't a mistake. The bottle earned every single ugly percentage point. Well, that's all I got for today, Whiskey Freaks. Thanks for listening to the Blind Tasting Podcast. I'm going to get another episode up in just a couple days. I'll see you soon.